The turkey was perfect this year. After 3 decades of Thanksgiving dinners, I finally mastered the art of keeping the breast meat moist while getting that golden brown skin. Not that it mattered, my hands shook so badly I could barely hold the carving knife. "Mom, let me do that," Michael said, gently taking the knife from my trembling fingers. My son, now 40, looked so much like his father it made my heart ache. The same strong jaw, the same intense brown eyes. But where James's eyes had always held shadows, Michael's sparkled with warmth and success. "Still can't believe you're cooking in this tiny kitchen," he commented, expertly carving the turkey. "You could have a mansion by now, you know, or at least a bigger house." I wiped my hands on my apron, the same one I'd worn for 20 years of waitressing shifts. "This house has everything I need." Michael's wife, Sarah, was setting the table with their 2 children, using my mismatched plates and worn silverware. She caught my eye and smiled sympathetically. She knew why I stayed in this small house, even after Michael had offered countless times to buy me a better one. This was where James had written his last letter, where he confessed everything. "Dad would be proud of you," Michael said suddenly, arranging turkey slices on a serving plate. "Building your company from nothing, taking care of Mom all these years." The words hit me like physical blows. Every compliment about his father was another knife in my heart. "Remember how he used to say, 'Dream big or go home'?" Michael continued, lost in memories he'd constructed from my careful lies. "I thought about that a lot when I was starting out." I turned away, pretending to check the stuffing. James had never said that. James had never said much of anything about dreams. He'd been too busy destroying them. "Grandma, tell us about Grandpa." 10-year-old Emma called from the table. "Daddy says he was a hero." My hands clenched on the oven mitt. Another lie. Another story I crafted to protect my son from the truth. "Your grandfather," I started, but Michael interrupted. "Dad served in Desert Storm," he told his children proudly. "He died helping his unit evacuate civilians. Mom still has his medals." The medals were real, the story wasn't. But how do you tell your child that their hero father was actually Mom? Michael's voice snapped me back to the present. "You okay?" You went pale there for a second. "Just hot from the oven," I lied. Another lie for the pile. "Let's eat before everything gets cold." Dinner proceeded normally, or as normally as it could, with my stomach in knots. Michael talked about his company's latest acquisition. Sarah shared stories about the children's school achievements, and I pushed food around my plate, wondering if this would be our last peaceful Thanksgiving together. Because I'd seen the envelope in Michael's briefcase when he arrived. The same type of envelope that had contained James's last letter, 30 years ago. After dinner, while Sarah took the kids to the living room, Michael lingered in the kitchen, helping me clean up, just like James used to do before everything fell apart. "Mom," he said finally, drying his hands. "There's something we need to discuss." My heart stopped. The stuffing was too dry, wasn't it? He didn't smile at my weak joke. Instead, he went to his briefcase and pulled out the envelope I'd been dreading. "I've been doing some research," he said quietly, "about Dad." The plate I was holding slipped from my fingers, shattering on the floor. Neither of us moved to clean it up. "Tell me what?" Michael pressed. "That he died here. That it wasn't combat that killed him." I stared at my hands, remembering how they trembled that night too, as I'd read James's final letter, as I'd made the decision that would shape the next 30 years. "Open the envelope, Mom." My head snapped up. "What?" "The envelope. Open it." His eyes, so like his father's, held mine. "It's not the police reports. Those are at home. This is something else." With shaking fingers, I opened the envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper, not the damning evidence I'd expected, but a letter, in James's handwriting. The letter I hid 3 decades ago. "Where?" My voice failed me. "Found it last month when I was helping you clean the attic. It fell out of his old military jacket." Michael's voice was gentle now. "I've read it, Mom. I know what really happened that night, what he did, what you did to protect me." The tears I'd held back for 30 years finally broke free. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to know. That Dad was stealing from his company. That he got caught. That he," Michael swallowed hard, "that he took the coward's way out instead of facing the consequences." I could only nod, the old shame washing over me. "But that's not what kills me, Mom," he continued. What kills me is knowing that you worked 3 jobs to repay money you never stole. That you let everyone believe you were just struggling to make ends meet, when really you were paying back Dad's embezzlement. That you created this whole hero story so I'd have something to be proud of, while you carried the real burden alone. Through my tears, I saw him reach for his briefcase again. So, he said, I have another envelope for you to open. My hands shook as I took the second envelope. It was heavier than the first, stuffed with what looked like financial documents. Before you open it, Michael said, pulling his chair closer, I need you to understand something. When I started my company, I did it thinking I was following Dad's example, building something from nothing, just like I thought he had. I closed my eyes, remembering all the times Michael had proudly declared he was just like Dad during his rise to success. Each time had been another knife in my heart. But I wasn't following his path at all. Michael's voice grew fierce. I was following yours. The mother who worked endless double shifts to make things right. Who paid back every penny Dad stole, with interest, even though she didn't have to. I had to, I whispered. The company would have pressed charges otherwise. Your father's name would have been in all the papers. You would have known that he was a thief, a coward. Michael's hand covered mine. Instead, I grew up thinking he was a hero who died saving others, while you quietly saved us all. Sarah appeared in the doorway, took one look at the scene, and quietly closed the door, giving us privacy. She'd known the truth for months, I realized. Had helped Michael piece it together. Open the envelope, Mom. Inside were bank statements, property deeds, and investment portfolios. All in my name. The numbers made my head spin. What is this? Every penny Dad stole was $1.2 million, Michael said quietly. You paid it all back over 20 years, working yourself to the bone. Plus the interest they demanded, you paid almost $2 million total. I nodded. The numbers had been burned into my brain, each payment a step toward redemption for a crime I hadn't committed. So, he continued, I did some calculating. If you had invested that money instead of paying back Dad's debt, with compound interest over 30 years, he pointed to a number at the bottom of one statement. This is what you would have had. The figure made me gasp. Michael? No. Yes. And that's exactly what I've put in your name. Plus the house you should have had. The retirement you deserved. Everything Dad's actions stole from you. I can't accept this. I pushed the papers away. It's too much. It's not enough, he countered. Do you know what I remember most from my childhood? Not Dad's supposed heroics. I remember you coming home at midnight from your second job, still in your waitress uniform, helping me with my homework. I remember you missing my school plays because you were working extra shifts at the cleaning service. I remember you selling your wedding ring to pay for my college application fees. The memories hit hard. I thought I'd hidden the struggles better. But you never complained, he continued. Never told me we were struggling because of Dad's choices. Instead, you let me believe in a hero while you quietly played the role of one. I just wanted you to have something to be proud of, I whispered. I am proud, Michael's voice cracked. But not of him. I'm proud of you, and it's time you had something to be proud of too. He pulled one more document from the envelope, a press release. My company's charitable foundation, he explained. We're launching a new program for single parents paying off a family member's debts. It's called the Helen Morrison Fund, named after the strongest person I know. The tears came again, but different this time. Lighter somehow. The truth is, Michael continued, I've known something was wrong with Dad's story for years. Little things didn't add up, but I never pushed because I saw how much it hurt you to talk about him. When did you figure it out? Pieces over time, but the letter confirmed everything. And then I found the payment records you'd hidden in the attic. 30 years of receipts, Mom. 30 years of sacrifice. Through the kitchen door, I could hear Emma and her brother laughing with Sarah in the living room, the sound of a happy, whole family, the kind I'd fought so hard to give Michael. I said slowly, that if you knew the truth about your father, it would break you. That you needed a hero to look up to. I had one. He squeezed my hand. She just didn't wear a uniform or have any medals. She wore an apron and carried a serving tray. I looked down at the documents again, at the future I'd sacrificed laid out in black and white. The money, I started, is yours. No arguments, and before you say it's too much, it's not charity. It's justice. It's what you should have had if Dad had made different choices. A lifetime of scrimping, of counting pennies, of working through exhaustion and pain crashed over me. I don't know how to not struggle anymore, I admitted. Michael smiled, his father's smile, but somehow warmer. Truer. That's why I'm here, to help you learn how to live instead of just survive. The kitchen clock chimed, marking the hour. 30 years ago, almost to the minute, I'd found James's body and the letter that would change our lives. Now, in the same kitchen, life was changing again. One more thing, Michael said, reaching for his briefcase one final time. The story we tell the kids about Dad. That's your choice. Whatever you think is right. I thought about Emma and her brother. About the weight of lies and the price of truth. We'll tell them a different kind of hero story, I decided. About a grandmother who loved their father so much she gave up everything to give him a future. Sometimes that's what real heroes do, they sacrifice in silence. Michael nodded, understanding perfectly, just like he always had, even when I thought I was fooling him. Happy Thanksgiving, Mom, he said softly. Let's make the next 30 years better than the last. Through the tears, I smiled. For the first time in 3 decades, the future looked brighter than the past. The following morning, I woke up to an unfamiliar sensation. Peace. For 30 years, I'd started each day with the heavy weight of secrets and survival pressing down on me. But now, watching the sun rise through my kitchen window, I felt lighter. Michael and his family had stayed overnight, something they'd never done before, because my small house couldn't comfortably accommodate them. But last night, no one complained about the cramped quarters or the worn-out sofa bed. Morning, Mom. Michael padded into the kitchen, already dressed for his morning run. Sleep okay? Better than I have in years, I admitted, pouring him coffee into one of my chipped mugs. Though that might change once I really process everything from last night. He smiled, accepting the coffee. I have something else to show you. Want to take a walk? Outside, the November air was crisp and clean. Michael led me down the familiar streets of the neighborhood I'd never been able to leave. The house where James died had become both my prison and my shelter. We turned a corner, and he stopped in front of a beautiful craftsman-style house with a sold sign in the yard. Sarah and I bought it last month, he said quietly. It's a few blocks from your current house. Close enough to keep your routines, far enough to feel like a fresh start. Michael. Before you say no, look at the yard. He pointed to the sprawling garden space. Perfect for those tomatoes you never had room to grow. And there's a proper kitchen, so you can teach Emma how to bake. Plus, he grinned, a guest suite for when we visit. No more sofa bed. I stared at the house, remembering all the times I'd walked past it, dreaming of a different life. The money you gave me, I can't, is enough to buy 10 houses like this, he finished, but this one's already yours. Consider it 30 years of missed Mother's Day presents. A car door slammed behind us. Sarah was walking over, carrying a thick folder. The renovation plans, she explained, hugging me good morning. Only if you want them, of course. But I remember you mentioning once how you'd always wanted a bay window for reading. They thought of everything. I'd probably been planning this for months, while I continued serving coffee and making beds at my second job, unaware my life was about to change. There's something else, Michael said as we walked back. The Helen Morrison Fund, it's not just financial support. We're setting up counseling services, career training, legal aid. Everything I wish you'd had 30 years ago. Your father would hate all of this, I said suddenly, then froze. It was the first time I'd ever spoken ill of James to Michael. But my son just laughed. Good. Let him hate it from wherever he is. You spent 30 years protecting his reputation. Time to build your own. Back at my small house, Emma and her brother were awake, devouring leftover turkey sandwiches for breakfast. Grandma. Emma called out. Dad said we're helping you move. Can I have your old room for sleepovers? Looking around my kitchen, at the cracked tiles I'd never been able to replace, the ancient stove that only worked on 2 burners, the window that never quite closed properly, I realized I was ready to leave the past behind, ready to stop paying for James's sins. Yes, I told my granddaughter. Yes, you can have the room. But first, you need to hear a story about your grandmother. The real story. Michael touched my shoulder. Mom, you don't have to. I do, I said firmly. No more lies. No more hiding. I sat down at my scared kitchen table one last time. Kids, let me tell you about the year I was your age, when something very hard happened, and I had to make a choice. As I spoke, watching understanding dawn in my grandchildren's eyes, I felt the final weights of the past lifting. James's letter and all its painful revelations could stay buried in the attic of this old house. In my new home, I would carry only the truth and the pride of knowing that sometimes the biggest act of love is letting go of a lie. And that, I concluded, hugging my grandchildren close, is what real heroes do. They face the truth, no matter how hard it is. Just like you did, Grandma, Emma whispered. Yes, I thought, just like I finally did.